indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Good morning and welcome to the August meeting of the Clinton County Council. We'll jump right in, beginning with our approval of the July meeting minutes.
Ellen, I didn't see any corrections or anything that need to be changed up, so I make a motion.
Okay, motion to approve for
Second.
Jeff, second by Joe. All those in favor, raise your right hand. That motion carries. Was everybody down here? Up? Okay,
yeah.
6-0 with Todd abstaining. Community Corrections Report. Brett Barton. Good morning.
This morning, we have 90 individuals on our program, 1 on CTP, 4 on pretrial release, and we're doing 3 juveniles at the moment. We got the results of our fiscal audit from the state, no findings at all, so we're happy about that. We had 29-cent carryover. Finished up the last of renovations on our building. Tim did the last things he needed to do, so 100% complete, and we're very, very happy with that.
Great.
You have in our additionals today, I think, a request for some funding for an automobile, for a new car. Could you speak to that maybe real quick?
That's already happened, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, we traded in the oldest of our 5 cars in our fleet, and got a new Kia G4 or 5.
So it's a replacement, not
Yeah,
an
it's just
addition.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to
Uh-huh.
clarify. Yep, okay, thank you.
No, you're
Any
welcome.
questions for Brett?
No,
Okay, thank you.
thanks.
And then I'm sorry, I cannot remember your name, but we have
Amber.
Amber with probation,
Yes.
filling in for Matthew.
Yes. So we had detention costs last month. We had 3 juveniles in detention. The total was $1,545. So it was down from last month, but still, we'd like it to be lower than that.
Right. Are those ongoing?
No, they've all 3 of them have been released now.
Okay.
2 of them are on home detention. The other one was placed through DCS in a shelter care facility. Okay.
Any questions regarding probation?
No.
If you'll bear with me, I'm going to try to find it. I had one question about an additional appropriation we had for the department, and I cannot find it. Well, if you're going to be here, I'll get to it when we arrive at that. Thank you. Okay, moving on to new business. We have a proposal to add more options to the Beacon Schneider program that Jada Ray, assessor, is going to walk through with us. Jada, the floor is yours.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Did you all receive by chance ahead of time? I tried to make just some bullet points for you of what the update would include. So it's just an additional add-on to our current Beacon contract that we have. It allows a lot more things on the assessment side for me to be able to do, but it also.
For those who
Yes.
may be watching that aren't familiar with Beacon, can you maybe give a real brief description of what the Beacon Schneider program does?
Yes, so Beacon is the public website that many taxpayers already are aware of and use when they call our office. It has the GIS information. You can look at aerial photography. We have linked the assessment records to it. There's tax information that's linked to it. You can look up who owns what parcels, pull up your own parcel, that information right now. This package could, it gives us the function to add up to like 12 additional layers onto those maps, and they can be anything that we want. So my thinking was we get a lot of questions about sales and how that affects, the current assessment process with trending that's set by the state. So all of those sales that come in, we can pull those through now where it'll turn on and you can show it on the map. Like it'll show when was the last sale and what was the sale price. And so when people are searching within their neighborhood or their area, they can quickly see that. They can just turn on a function for that. There's the ability to add up to 12 forms for people to file. They can go on and file if they wish. We can have where they can file an appeal. It'll walk them through step by step. It'll make sure they don't miss a step in the process. It will actually also pull for them comparable sales to kind of see information. So it's just where they can do it from home if they so wish, if they don't want to come in.
I love the property tax
Yes.
pie chart.
So the pie chart I thought was actually really exciting too, because we do get a lot of questions. I'm sure the auditor's office does as well, and the treasurer. Where does their tax dollars go to? And so when you pull up that first page on Beacon, you find your property. Right there in the upper right corner will be a pie chart, and it'll say of your $1,000 you paid this year, here's the percent that went to the county, to the school, to the library, to all the different places, and it'll be able, that's something that'll get added to there. There are several different things. An estimator for taxes, it's really gonna be a lot more customizable. And for the upgraded cost, I just thought it was extremely beneficial. And it's, I already have money within my current budget there wouldn't be an additional ask. I could cover the additional amount through the budget that I already have.
Now, as I understood it, you're saying that you could cover it not just this year, but moving forward.
Correct.
You're gonna just shift some things around
Yeah.
within the budget? Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well, that's
great.
great. I was really impressed with some of those functionalities. And I use Beacon a lot. Those things that you listed are things that I would use.
there's also the ability, I had talked with Britt briefly, when it comes to those forms, how we can upload up to 10 forms. So I can upload, heritage barn deductions, that type of thing. And if Britt wanted to do it as well, or any other office, I actually had the health department, we talked about meeting up and maybe some things with their program as well, if they wanted to use where someone could file their homestead, and it would be only accessible through like the auditor's office or that. So there's a lot more functionality that we could share if I don't use.
So are you saying
all
the
those-
taxpayer selects a particular parcel, all of the particular deductions that they may qualify for?
If
those
we so
applications
choose, you
pop
could
up?
have that where it would load and they could file their forms for their deductions on that parcel. And then it would come straight here and could pull that data out.
That'd be awesome.
Do you anticipate that it will reduce the workload for your office as well?
It'll still, we'll still have those things that will come into the office, but I think it will clear up a lot of questions, especially when we send out assessment notices and tax time. So it will help, I think, that busy time when maybe someone can't get through right away, where they can see the tax dollar part. They can do the appeal form if they can't get out, or, we always will mail or email a copy to someone, but if they, a lot of people are tech savvy and they would rather do that from their own home. So I think it will help, for sure, yes, with the workflow.
Jade, I had that same question. So the 15,000 one-time setup fee.
Yes.
You just have extra in your budget this year.
Well, and also the sales disclosure fund, we haven't used that in
Okay.
many years. And I checked with Britt a while back ago, a few months ago, and there's money in that to even use for this one-time fund. But
And then
the
the 10,000
annual fee for sure, I could do all of it out of my existing fund, but I was thinking the one-time setup fee and that maybe from the sales disclosure fund, it's still gonna leave its money in there. And then, the annual fee I can cover out of my, normal reassessment budget.
Brett, can you look up real quick, what's the sales disclosure fund balance? Is that,
I should have wrote it down. I know it was over 67,000, I think, the last we checked.
would you prefer, that seems like the logical source to me for the
Yeah.
initial purchase.
That's what I would prefer to do this first year, the one-time setup, and then the prorated for the remainder of the year. I think it'll be about 18,775 for the initial fee and the remainder of this year for it to start. And then the annual fee from there on out. It shows on what I had sent as the 23,472, but that's including our normal contract that's already paid. So really, the only additional cost is 10,267.
Increase of 10,000 each year.
Yes,
And that you.
and
have
that I
covered.
can cover.
See, I'd prefer to deal with that starting in the 2026 budget when we
Yes.
know
Right.
going in rather than, so.
Yeah.
There's
I have a-
66, 625.
Okay, 66,625. Did you have another question?
Well, I have a question that has nothing to do, well, maybe it has something to do with this. A homestead exemption, can you, while you're here, I'm just going to take advantage of that. A homestead exemption is for a home, right? So how do you monitor when a home becomes a business?
So homestead exemptions are filed through the auditor's office and taken care of through there, through that office. So if it does switch, normally we're notified through that transfer, when the transfer comes in, or sometimes it may be caught during, sales validation. So like when our office validates that sale, we may notice then, if it's not a home or not. They're supposed to mark on the sales disclosure, what is the primary use of the property going to be? So it should say it's going to continue to be a primary residence, it's going to go to a rental property. That is a question on the sales disclosure form that we receive, and that's how we're supposed to kind of go through those and keep track. And then the new owner has to file their exemption with the auditor's office. If not, they would lose that exemption that following year.
And I suppose there is an opportunity for a person to start a business and not have in the home that already exists, and there's no sales disclosure, and no one would know.
There would be, there's always a way to, but at some point in time, whether it be, even if there was a sale, there was a quitclaim deed done, and we didn't report a sales disclosure. Eventually, during whether it's reassessment, when we're in that area, that's where those type of things would get caught.
Okay,
Disclosure fund.
thank you.
Any other questions for Jada? Okay, what's the council's pleasure? I think I'm sensing a consensus to move forward. Does anybody care to make that motion?
Motion to move forward.
Joe, I think we were discussing that funding would come from the sales disclosure fund. Is that what you're thinking there? Okay, so we have a motion from Joe. Do I have a second? Second from Mary, that we move forward with allowing the assessor to add the additional capabilities to the Beacon Schneider Fund, paid for initially from the sales disclosure fund. One-time setup fee, $15,143. All right, any other discussion before we vote? All right, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
Okay. Next up, we take another step closer to budget activity here with some updates on some information that we received from the state that would impact the county's budget process. Britt, you want to walk through that real quick on what we have received and what we may still be waiting to receive?
We have received the growth quotient, which is 4%. The max levy, I have included the worksheet that I have to do, and you'll be able to see how that all breaks down on the calculation. We also, yep,
Well, I was just going to say, and so looking at that bottom line number, if you look at that page, it's a bottom line county levy of $11,690,000 for 2026. So that is the amount of money we're allowed to collect.
exactly.
And how is that different?
It's up 4%, which is the growth quotient. Now, that was capped this year. Had it been allowed to go under the former formula, it would have been higher than 4, but one of the tax relief measures that the General Assembly had passed put a cap on that at 4%, so we are at the cap
And it was 4% last year.
Yeah.
We did receive the property tax credit apportionment worksheet, so I have filled that out and attached that in your packet. So that breaks down the proposed levy for the different funds that we have, being county general, reassessment, our health fund, the different funds, and how those would break down. It also broke down the property tax cap credits. So if you can see there, 1.2 million that I needed to back down because of the credits. And then I've also attached here the rates for our CUME funds.
And that $1.2 million in cap credit loss, that's the number that concerns me as we move forward through the impacts of Senate Bill 1 is that no one has been able to project yet what that impact will be on the tax credit number. And so, and I apologize, I meant to call our contact with Baker Tilly before this meeting to get an update on the timing, and I forgot to do so, but we'll hopefully have those.
That's right.
Have those numbers from their analysis before our budget meeting in September. That was the goal.
I think Baker Tilly and Reedy have been overwhelmed with the tax or the TIF neutralization. I'm still waiting on all of that so that I can get our certified net assessed values. So SB1 is just playing into all of that, and some of the information isn't getting to us quite as fast as normal. I don't have the circuit breaker reports. I don't have the lit reports. They're just things that we're waiting on from the DLGF as we work through budgets. I mean, I'm still plugging numbers in and waiting on numbers.
SB1 is causing trouble, but it's also being blamed for trouble that wasn't, that was caused by other things.
That's true. So anyway, those items, I would recommend that you pull those out of the packet and put them in a folder for reference at budget time next month. They'll begin to help formulate the revenue side of the equation that we have to balance to. Okay, that moves us on to old business and additional appropriations for this month. Got a lot of pages, but really not a whole lot of funds here. So, beginning with the general fund, we had a refund of $760 that needs to go back into the pauper attorney line item for Superior Court.
Alan,
Yes.
may we go back and you do a motion to say that you received everything from
Sure.
the auditor's office?
Okay. You have the list of items that the auditor has provided there. 2026 growth quotient, max levy, property tax allocation worksheet, and we do not actually have the circuit breaker report. Is that correct?
not.
So that let's make a motion to note we received the first 3 of those 4 items from the auditor. If someone would care to make that motion, please. Mary has that motion. Do I have a second by Carol? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, I lost my place here.
Just the first one, 760.
Okay, community corrections. $1,000 for some additional funding to the Crossing School that the Corrections Board approved to provide, and then the $20,000 for replacement of a vehicle that Brett addressed just a moment ago, for a total of $21,000. EMS, we have a refund back to the county of $32 for an employee that went over their clothing allowance, reimbursing that amount. Firearms training, $15,000 for tasers and less than lethal weapons. Local health maintenance fund, $4,209.37. This is some funds that have been kind of dormant, if I recall, and they needed to be carried forward into 2025. So this will allow them to be eligible for use. $4,209.37. Lit Correctional Facility, $304. We had some scrap metal that we took over to Winski's. We're going to put those proceeds into the repair and maintenance line item. Probation, $5,015 from drug and alcohol grant that is going to be used for drug screening for indigent probationers.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Who's doing the drug screens? Abbott Health. Okay. Thanks.
I think this is still under that same probation. We have some Trex receipts, the tax recovery funding, withholding of funds due to the county, withholding from those delinquencies from state tax return refunds. $485.09 on one. $1,153.14 on another,
Another one.
and $977.74 on a third. So that puts that total probation number at $630.97. Okay, from the surveyor, we have several of these. These are drain maintenance fees that we receive from our neighboring counties when a drainage watershed spills over county lines and moves into another county. Clinton County has the majority of these particular watersheds, so the other counties remit to Dan their portion. $2,300.08 from the Leslie Johnson watershed from Tipton County. $384.06 from the J. Milner watershed from Carroll County. $1,247.93 from the J. Lip watershed from Carroll County. $50 from the Riley watershed from Carroll County. I believe maybe that was the last. Yeah, that was the last one. So we had altogether from other counties, $3,982.07. I'm missing a page perhaps.
You're missing which one?
Well, I don't have the page 2 of this.
Where are you doing?
Because we got more to go and I ran out on this. Court interpreter grant.
I don't have it either.
Court interpreter grant for, let's see, which court is this? This is Circuit Court. Yeah, thank you. Circuit Court, $464.40. This is to get authorization to use that from the grant. For interpreter services used. Sheriff's Gifts Fund, $7, and Sheriff, you may not, this is something I've never seen before. It says a RAD book, R-A-D, is that an acronym? I don't.
Yes, it is. It's a rape aggression defense.
Okay,
Then it's the classes that we teach.
okay. Understood. $7, big one, big one.
It was found money that investigations determined.
Okay, okay, thank you for the explanation. Travel immunization fund, we've do this periodically, $7,000, people pay, come to the Board of Health or to the Health Department, get an immunization, pay some funds, that money goes into this fund, and then we use it to buy more immunization to continue the services. So $7,000 to appropriate for to buy some more immunization doses. Community Corrections also had some Trex receipts, $107.27 on one, $120.91 on another, for a total of $228.18. Highway Department, you'll see we've got an adjustment here. This is for from the wheel tax fund to buy some additional materials for chip sealing and paving, $300,000 that would go to bituminous. You'll see that's a reduction from the advertised amount of $431,000. So we're going to reduce this one to $300,000, so we'll need to make note of that at the time of the approval. And last but not least, we have from the probation or opioid grant. I'm sorry, I'm flipping through pages to get to the.
Asphalt.
There it is. Grant disbursement for the Justice Partners Addictions Response Program. That's what I was going to have you address, if you wouldn't mind. Can you share with us what that program is?
Yes, it is,
Could I have you go to the microphone for those watching online? Thank you.
So it goes to healthy communities to help pay for the peer recovery coach program.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Been doing it for years.
Okay. I just wasn't familiar with that name. Okay, that's your list of additional appropriations for August. Any questions on any of those? Are you all still awake?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
just check.
Did I miss it, or did you say the 20,000 for the vehicle?
Yeah, yeah, we did
Okay,
that.
okay,
Yep.
sorry. I
Yeah,
missed it.
we were rolling through them pretty
Okay.
quick, so I
And sometimes they're not exactly in order, so.
I did have a question about that. So did you trade in the other vehicle, or what happened to it?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Okay, with no other discussion, I'd entertain a motion to
I make a
approve
motion to approve with the,
Second.
with the one adjustment,
with the one adjustment, yeah.
For the county highway.
lowering county highway wheel tax to 300,000 to bituminous. So I had Jeff with the motion. I think I had Joe with the second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. Joe, is your hand up? 7-0, okay. And then we do have a couple of transfers that we need to approve. Beginning with area plan, $7,000 from the building inspector position to the contractual services for the I assume that's for the firm that's providing the building inspection services as we look to fill that position. Again, from the opioid grant, $4,000 from incentives to contractual, $3,084 from supplies to contractual, and those monies are going to go again for the peer recovery coach program.
Alan, did you have, there should have been one before the area plan.
This one, extension office?
Oh, yep, I'm sorry, I missed that one. Okay, so yeah, extension office, $2,252 from the janitor line item to contractual cleaning. So we've switched from having a county employee providing the cleaning service to an outside vendor doing the service. So we're just shifting that money from the payroll line item to the contractual services line item. Any question on any of those? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve. Motion by Mike to approve the transfers for August. Do we have a second? Second by Todd. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0. Okay. We also received the monthly financial statement and budget status report from the auditor, and we always try to have a motion to show that we've received that, so our friends at State Board of Accounts know that that work has been done.
One at a time or both?
But both together is fine.
They both been received?
Yeah, okay, so I have a motion by Jeff that the council has received both the financial and budget status reports. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Carries 7-0. Council reports. Anybody have anything they'd like to update the rest of the council on?
I don't.
I'll just say that I'm still working on the community, the funds.
Yes.
The funds for community. I'm running into lots of roadblocks. The last suggestion is that I have a conversation with our attorney.
Okay. So to elaborate a little bit on the issue at hand, the most recent issue at hand is that we did get an invoice from Community Howard asking for the mental health money from last year, the money that we put in our budget. Obviously, there was very little, if any, service provided by Community Howard, and so we've been trying to determine whether we're obligated to pay that money or whether we can repurpose that to a local use under local direction and control, and we're just kind of going through all kinds of channels with no answer yet, so.
Yeah, I've talked to the MHA and talked to one person at the State Board of Accounts, but they suggest that I talk to our attorney next.
Okay.
So,
We'll keep pulling on that string, and we'll see where it ends up.
okay.
The only other thing I would add is that Carol, Mary, and I did join our council colleagues from Boone County to hear a presentation from Ryan Hoff with the Association of Indiana Counties regarding SB1 and the kind of evolving understanding of that legislation and expected impacts on county budgets. I think Carol and I, that was the second time we'd heard that presentation. It was the first time for Mary, and I'm starting to feel maybe a little more comfortable with maybe at least what they're trying to accomplish, although I can't explain yet
Yes.
how it's going to impact the county. But I think that the one takeaway that I came away from that meeting with, and you tell me whether you came away with something different, but Ryan seemed comfortable in saying that he felt like of all the different entities that rely on property tax dollars, it felt like counties were going to be okay. Did you take that away?
I think you said that, but I think the biggest thing I took away is that the council is going to have a lot more responsibility in the next couple of years.
We are going to have many other things to have oversight on. I don't think that's bad. That's in many ways just
Right,
consolidating it at a central location. I think is probably good than having it different things that all spread out across the county. I guess the corollary to that is that our friends at the city may not be in as good a position. It
Right.
felt like the counties may come out of this a little stronger position than cities might. It's kind of that takeaway. There are lots of counties doing what we're doing in terms of having physical impact studies, and so I think that data is going to come in bunches, and we'll get back to legislators, facilitated to a large extent by the Association of Indiana Counties. So I don't know whether to expect changes in the 2026 session or not, but I think we're going to have a lot better information to work from. So it was good. I felt like the other thing I guess I came out of that is I felt proud of our council. I felt like we're really ahead of it. I feel like we're on top of it. We're doing what we need to do, and so
We're trying to get a handle on
Yeah.
each piece, but there's so many pieces.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll keep working on that. Commissioner reports. Anything? We have two commissioners with us today. Anything from either of you? Bert, if you're going to talk, could I have you come to the microphone, please? Okay. Well, I want you to get full credit for the shortness and sweetness here.
Yeah, it's real short and sweet. We don't know when we're moving.
Oh,
We're still working with the city because of some issues with the, I would say, entrance and the sidewalk and the road, and trying to figure out who and how and what we can do to get there. So our ideas doesn't seem to match some of the other people's ideas, and so we're struggling with how do we make it work. At the same time, inside, there's still a lot of TLC that we continue to put tape on to try to get it corrected, and quite honestly, Jordan and Jerry have been tremendous in working on those things. It's overwhelming to both of them, and they need kudos because it's been a full-time job. So, but anyway, I have a prediction, and Mr. Myers has a different prediction, and my prediction has no weight, but I would say that we're a month away yet. So, and that's coming from the air, you know, that has nothing to do with anybody's direction. So,
Well,
that's mine.
I want to echo your compliments to Jordan. He's put in untold hours over there, just going over things with a fine-tooth comb, and I can tell from the emails he sends me, you know, how much time he's put in over there. So I want to recognize him for that
Yeah,
too.
he has done a tremendous amount of work and effort, and it's just kind of amazing. It's been a full-time job for him, and really, he has really stepped up to the plate and done a great job for us.
Hey, Bert,
Yes,
why
sir.
is the punch list so big?
Why is it?
Rumor has it that it's enormous as far as pop-outs on drywall and things like that.
Started out that way. You know, we've gone over and over and over. So yeah, there were a tremendous amount of
Windows leaking?
to the beginning, yes, and water running down from the second floor to the first floor, which ruined both first floor and second floor. And as you said, you know, and everybody I think knows that the windows, for example, they did drywall and painting and finish work before they had the windows in. And of course, we had some heavy rain and some heavy wind, and of course that dampness goes in, and it, you know, water and drywall don't like each other. So, you know, those were issues that they had to work on. But there's been some other major things. The sidewalk and the curb is a major issue. You know, actually what the city wants to do is put a handrail up in front of the entrance there. And we're opposed big time against that, obviously. Another suggestion was they're going to put a flower pot across the whole front of it. Well, people parking their cars that have to walk around the flower issue to get to the front door. So we're not in favor of that either, obviously. So there's just been a lot of give and take. One of the issues or thoughts was we'll just paint that sidewalk there where it's at orange, or letting it be that way. And that looks pretty tacky when you got a $12 million building and orange stripe in the front that gives you caution. So it's just been kind of work in progress. But like I said, Jordan has just been tremendous on stuff like that. And, you know, I'm sure that some of those emails that you have read have been right to the point and right to the throat. So he's on top of it. So.
Bert, I just had one question, one comment, actually. If we could avoid the move happening during budget hearings, the department heads would be thrilled because they can't be here and moving at the same time.
I have let Jordan know that, the
Okay.
dates.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
That sounds good, but
I know.
if we get ready to pull the plug, I'm guessing that we're going to pull the plug. You know, we don't want to.
I asked him to be mindful of the 9th and 10th of September.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, so, that's past my prediction to begin with. Now Kevin's got a better prediction,
Right then?
Okay.
so.
Thank you for that update, I appreciate it. Okay, that moves us to department head reports. I know Sheriff Kelly needs some time. I'm pointing to you. We've already talked, so. You'll recall in previous meetings, to set the stage for what the sheriff has in his hands there, we'd gotten a special distribution of income tax monies earlier in the summer, and a portion of those went to the jail corrections lit. And I had said in one of our previous meetings that, like last year, if we had some items, some repair items, that we could put that money to use for the sheriff to put something together and get with us, and that's what he has for us today. So with that, I'll turn it to you.
This is the upgrade to the next two steps, and you can read through it when you all get copies of it. But Havel is the company that has provided the quote. They've done all the previous work. This is the upgrade to the computer system. Right now, I think the nickname for our computer system is the Oregon Trail. It's one of the oldest operating Apple computers put out there, and it's from 1994, and we've kept it running. So I would say that may be a museum piece, and we'll probably auction that hopefully when this work is done, because it is a museum piece. But this is the upgrade to all of that system, and the recommendations after that system's upgraded is to upgrade any deficient actuators that change water pressure, things like that. And they also want recommend a third-party company to come in and test air and water. And this controls all of the flow of the water for heating purposes, and because we're boiler heated, and we've replaced all the boilers. So this is the last step into getting something where right now our maintenance goes to different valves with a crescent wrench, or a wrench, and opens it or closes it. And boiler heated is the most efficient, but it is definitely okay, it's hot today, we're going to close that valve a little bit, righty-tighty, and then we're going to open it up when it gets cold, and they're having to do that at probably 80-plus actuators. So we'll find out. I think the second portion of changing actuators and valves will probably be in the same neighborhood of money. I mean, it's going to be, I think we've got a cost here of $173,089, and I think we'll probably be in the same neighborhood on the last part of it to change all the actuators and valves, if that's the case.
So, and I don't have that report in front of me, but my recollection is that the special distribution to that fund was in the 250,000
Yes.
range. So we had unexpected revenues this year that would more than cover this request, this initial request. So I'll give a minute for you two to have a chance to look if you'd like. I think you'd mentioned to me you have a couple other small things that you were going to try to fund from.
Yes, we have a
maintenance or-
dryer repair. We can take care of that out of maintenance or or out of commissary. And so if we do it out of commissary, I didn't bring the paperwork up with me. It's $3,000, I think, and $93. If we could have approval ahead of time, maybe we'll pay it out of commissary.
And we'll let you get that.
I do have a couple of repair and maintenance lines that I'm going to total up to see if it'll cover it, but it is $3,891.40. It's just my opinion that commissary does not require approval, but if you'd like to make approval, it does cover equipment installed in the facility.
Right, that's correct. Is it for equipment or for repairs of equipment?
It says equipment installed in facility. It's pretty vague.
No, I mean the bill.
Oh, I'm sorry. This
Repair.
is a repair of a dryer. A commercial dryer is going to be around 10 grand nowadays. So it was just more cost effective to
Well,
repair.
I do want to ask for a vote because of that, because of a repair to equipment could be, so, we have that $3,900 and some dollars there, repair, 39, what was the number?
$3,891.40.
Okay, so that number there, I'd like to ask for a council's blessing on funding that repair from commissary.
So moved.
Have a motion from Todd to allow that repair, second from Mike. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0. So go whichever way you need to go, but you can.
That was my
use-
question. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And then going back to the original request here for the repairs to the computer system, a total 173,089. I'd entertain a motion if the council is comfortable to authorize that spending from the jail corrections lit.
Joe.
I think I had Joe had his hand up here first and Carol with the second. Any last questions? That's a big investment, but needed. All the-
Takes care of the whole jail, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's the computer system that controls the heating and the air. And we've changed out the chillers, we've changed out the boilers, and this is the last hard part of it is
Mike, you
spending
probably
that
bought
kind of
that
money.
computer that's running.
Yeah.
Mike knows where that computer's at. I mean, Sheriff Inslee there knows exactly where that computer's
Yeah.
Top
at.
the line at that
Time for top of the line at the time.
It's not moved, but it was top of the line in 1994.
This is the remainder of this started under Jeff Ward. This was that $50,000
Yes,
a year.
yes.
That I think was supposed to span over 5 years. This is the remaining portion,
Yeah.
just lumped together because we are at end of life on the Oregon Trail. That's all.
Okay, yep. I remember that process there. Okay, with that being said, we had the motion in the second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0. So we're good to go there.
Thank you very much. If anybody has any questions, that's all I have. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Any other department heads need time with the council? We have several in the room. Okay, Renee, Central Dispatch, and EMA.
And EMA, yes. I don't have anything, I don't think, from Central Dispatch today. EMA, next Tuesday is the EMA advisory meeting out at EMA, and that's at 12:30 if anybody wants to attend. On the advisory board sits Jordan Brewer and Alan from the council, and Mayor Sheets and Eric Woods from the city. But anybody's welcome to attend. That'll be obviously my first one. They normally meet annually, and it's at 12:30 at the EMA office building.
What was the date on that again?
The 19th, so next Tuesday, the 19th at 12:30.
And we do that because the EMA is jointly funded by city and county. And so that way we get a chance for the city to have input on typically that's a pre-review of a budget submission that ultimately will come to the council, but that way the city has had a chance to review and give any comment with regard to the budget. So it's what we usually cover at that meeting. So,
The only other thing, Coroner Kripe and I, we went before the commissioners at the last meeting. So since I've been out there, Ed and I have been in discussion. So currently, obviously, the morgue sits on the southeast corner. Right now, their vehicle is housed in one of our middle bays. And Ed and I have been talking, and I would like them to be able to be completely on the east end. So there's a bay that is back to back with the morgue. So the commissioners gave approval, and Ed's going to get 2 quotes on, we essentially just need a door
yeah.
cut through, and that way they would be able to not have to go through the rest of our building, and then get a couple new doors so that they are completely on the far east end. It would just make much more sense for them
Yeah.
and for us as well. And, it just keeps it separate, even though we're in the same building, but it would just make it so much better for them,
Makes perfect sense.
unloading. So we are working on that. But other than that, I don't have anything unless you have something for me.
Nothing for me. Any questions for Renee?
Okay?
Thank
All
you.
right, thanks.
Melissa Osler with Board of Health. Melissa has been a busy woman. Busy woman, but productive.
I hope so.
Great progress.
I hope so. I'm feeling, I happened to look back on the last meeting to kind of like recap and remind myself, and it was like day 20 or something, and I feel like now it's like year 20. I mean, it's just been a lightning speed progress, so really, really pleased. So we are in full swing, working on prevention, promotion, and protecting. That's our motto. We are working on aligning our budgets, our program, and our people to ensure that we are driven by needs and quality metrics, evidence-based programming. It has been, I cannot say enough great things about your health department, our health department, my health department. This team they're dedicated, they really pitch in, they help each other. I think sometimes people will say, I don't know what the health department does, and we're really working on making sure that's part of our service. That's part of that promotion, is making sure that there's no one in clinical County who doesn't know what the health department does. So that's a year-long campaign, but you will see it. And if you think, wow, why do I keep hearing the health department? This is why. Like, that's how we serve. We started the FAN program, which I think I talked to you about before, connecting with community health partners. Since I was last here, Mary was able to come to our Board of Health meeting, which we revamped, and God bless your patience that night as we worked through our technical difficulties and really worked on bringing them up to speed on here is a PowerPoint, here is all the different reports, here is what our old and new businesses, and really moving that forward. So Dr. Dominic has been great to work with, along with Dr. Pearson. I feel really positive about that. The Board of Health is also creating a sub-finance committee. So just like you were talking about the other groups meeting to review those budgets, to really understand their finances, and then bring to you a complete package, those steps are all in place already. On top of that, Carol Price, Council Lady Price, joined us to go to Montgomery County. We got to participate in healthcare. I won't get HEAL all the way right, but it's part of the Purdue Center's rural health services that they offer. Dr. Jerome Adams, who you may he is the Director for Diversity and Equity with Purdue's Healthcare, but you may recognize him as the former U.S. Attorney General for Health. And so we got to spend the afternoon.
Surgeon General.
Surgeon General, thank you, not Attorney General.
Do the same
Thank you.
thing.
That's right. So we got to spend that time with Dr. I just missed his name, Adams, yes, directly. That was an amazing afternoon. Was so proud that Clinton County showed up with their council person, with them, as with all the other leaders. Montgomery County, I think they ended up saying 4 or 5 different counties were represented that day at least, if not more. So that was a great day. Ann Hazlett got to come and also present, again, giving us that good, bigger picture of where we stand as a state with the legislation, with the funding. Again, we're not as, well, it's never great, right, to have to worry about where the dollars are coming from. It's always, there's more to come. And so we just have to work through this time. We just have to be very precise in our plan. And that is really where my attentions have been really for the last 3 weeks. I want to commend Deanna Locks and Janet for their patience, Britt as well, and just the patience of us getting through there. When you see our Health First Indiana funding, you see one big pot. When I submit to the state, they keep every year's funding for Health First in little individual buckets of that big pot. So I have to be very precise in what I budget out. You see one big, but they're going to see this year's and then carryovers. So what we originally thought was a very limited fund of our $193,575.40 coming this year, a 75% cut from where we were, that sounded devastating. What we have learned since then is how to look beyond that limit to say, okay, what is our program, who are our people, and how are we going to do this? Well, because I could only line item certain things out of that 193, some things got $1, literally. It's important to our program, we have to keep it, but it's not coming from this pot. So then I get to go figure out where it comes from. That's where that 2024 carryover comes in. We'll talk more about it in the future in September. Lots of it, but just so when you get to those and you think, what was she thinking? She put $1 on something. That's why. Because yes, it's important. I have to earmark it, and then I need to go over here and get it. And so lots of that happening, lots of hours spent making sure that we have done the best we can to not create a net gain on what would be the county budget. And I think I'm really proud with where we came out on that. You talked about the dormant funds. That's the other thing. Cleaning up a lot of that, a little bit here, a little bit there. You start putting those together, and all of a sudden, I have a much different budget to work with. And so we really made sure we kept the program first. So proud of that work. I want to also just point out that the appropriation that you gave today, we will be asking the state to release that in what we can use. That closes that fund out. That's the last 4,000 of that one. We have another one lined up for next year that we will use as part of that funding to, again, so that we weren't shifting things onto the county. How else can we do this? And so we just tried to be really creative in all that work. Our PEF grant, which is our emergency preparedness grant, Renee and I have met. We spent some time collaborating. Thank you, Renee, for that. As we figure out what emergency preparedness preparedness looks like from the health standpoint versus the community standpoint. And so have a good collaboration of how that's going to go forward. And again, instead of just looking at a person for funding, it's more about what can we do for the program. And so that, again, you'll be seeing come out. I think, did you see the email I sent last night?
I did.
Okay, so about how our next steps, so my interim phase of trying to get us already into this moving, lots of pieces to pick up. We have still our food and vector full position, to move that position to full-time, so that process will start rolling. We are vetting with HR, we're vetting with the grant people to make sure that I have the grant funding correctly aligned, so that we can go forward with that. Again, that'll go through all the standard processes of getting posted, applications received. So we're looking forward to doing that. We do have an interested candidate who's very qualified for that role. We do have, after that, we still have, you never knew it was so hard to give away money, but we still are working on giving our grants away. The Purdue class is underway, still working with EMS and with health, with Open Door Clinic on getting them their funding for the year. So all these little pieces are just lots of things to put together, but it's happening. So I'm really proud of that work. Let me think if there was anything else big. I don't think so. Being very mindful of that current strain on the county budget to make sure that whatever we move or shift doesn't create an increase to you guys. And that is what I have. Do you guys have any questions for me? I feel like there's a lot moving over there.
Yeah.
But I think that we're being incredibly transparent about it, making sure our social media is posted almost daily.
I appreciate the work that you've done.
Thanks, Melissa.
That's great.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll dive into it in September. There are things that we're gonna have to talk through and
Oh,
make some
absolutely.
decisions on, so.
Yep,
But
absolutely.
that's more appropriate for that time.
Well, and I feel like we have the right, now we can answer, and we can speak to our programs, and we can speak to our numbers, we can speak to where our risks lie. And that was what I wanted to get to, is making sure that that we're not just going off of what we used to do, but where are we going? And really knowing what those numbers are. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you got a couple more, Stephen. EMS.
We got a $5,000 grant from Duke Energy for a active shooter training that we will be running our staff through to further solidify their ability to respond to a tactical dynamic situation. Thanks.
Great. Yeah, thank you to Duke Energy for that. Okay, anybody else? Any non-department heads need time with the council today? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Call the meeting adjourned.
I need that additional paper, because that's.
Oh, yeah,
Vice
yeah,
does
yeah,
sign.
yeah.